Hello everyone, welcome back to Builderment. We're going to continue our mission today of accomplishing 2.8 Earth tokens per minute. Last episode we unlocked the motors and rotors. In between episodes I have gone through and built a motor factory. Go over it with you real quick. Here it is here. But basically it has some iron coming in the bottom. Down here making plating. Steel rods will come up from the north here, which I'll go over in a second. And those will be turned into rotors. So super easy enough. The rotors will then kick out, come down this line here, which will be fed into the motor factory. And whatever's left will, at the very end, will be spit out to the bus. If I find it spitting out too many, I will put a splitter in here and loop it back around and send half of them back up again, so that should more than give this motors enough rotors to back up. Anyways, this has got batteries coming in as well. And then steel rods I'm going to try something with. So this design right here has, these 8 buildings are cranking out about 300 steel rods per minute. I only need 220 to go down this line here. So in order to do that, what I've done is just put a splitter in here. So if I had 300 coming in this one, I would try to send 100 up, 100 forward, and 100 down. So this is just a row of splitters here. So it's going to try to send a third of it forward, which would be 100. It's going to try to send a third of that forward, which would be 33. It's going to try to send a third of that forward, which would be 11. And a third of that forward would only be like 3.5. So it's going to send like 297 down the line, which is way too many. However, it's going to back up, and the rest will be forced to go out the exit here. So once it backs up, it'll only send 220 down, and the rest of it will just overflow and go back, and then I just have it attaching back into the main line for now. So it sounds good. We'll see if it actually works. As you can see, it's splitting up a third of each direction. It takes forever to get them down here because 97% of them are coming down the line here. So you can see it only siphons off one every now and then, but once this backs up, it will send a lot more down. So I'm going to pause the video for a minute, and when it comes back on, I will show you how it's working. Okay, so the steel rods are backed up now. As you can see, both top and bottom are full, and it's just basically sending the leftovers out the exit on the front here. So far it's working as designed. Keep an eye on it and see, but so far it looks like it'll suit our purposes just fine. Alright, so next up is going to be, I believe, Nanowire. Yeah, I'm still working on delivering rotors to unlock these items. Once those are done, I will start delivering motors to the research lab, which in turn will unlock Nanowire. Now, Nanowire is a huge build. It requires glass and carbon fiber. Carbon fiber requires graphite. So graphite we've built before. It's this building right here in the batteries. So these buildings right here, except I'm going to need a lot more of them. I'm going to need more than double this. So I need like roughly 6,600 and some coal per minute, as well as 6,600 and some wood per minute. So it comes out to basically 50 forges. So I'm going to need quite a few of those, so I'm going to get that put together, and then we'll get some sand made out of stone, which turns into glass, and then we can make nanowire. We delivered enough motors to unlock an extractor upgrade, so happy days. Now, the great thing about this game is it's so easy to upgrade stuff. You just drag a huge portion of it, hit tab, shows I have 626 extractors. It's going to cost me $3 million to upgrade them to tier 4. We have 15 million, so money's coming in pretty quickly. So I'm not too worried about it, but just like that, everything's upgraded to the next level, so super easy to do. Nanowire turned out to be a rather large project. We have a whole bunch of graphite being made in these forges. Those are being sent to the workshops here. Everything's processing basically in full belts. So this is sending to the workshop, and that's making carbon fiber. Carbon fiber goes up and over the glass production into the machine shops. Machine shops are making nanowire, and then these furnaces and workshops are making glass from sand and stone. Zoom in, take a look. So this is the stone processing into sand, sand into furnaces, and then off to the machine shops. I have some more stone to bring in, but I need to unlock longer underground belts so I can span larger distances before I can get more stone in. And graphite is graphite over here, and this is just graphite in the workshop mixed carbon fiber. So we're processing quite a bit. It's becoming a logistics nightmare to get stuff anywhere. As you can see, like the stone in here. I mean, look at all that material. It's crazy. Zoom out a little bit. You can just see the massive amounts of belts I have. So that unlocks the microscopes, I believe. Microscopes. So we'll work on microscopes next. I need to get concrete done so I can unlock this underground belt extension. And that's microscopes. They're small setup right here. There's pretty straightforward stone coming into sand, sand being made into glass, glass into condenser lenses, and then down to the manufacturers here. And the nanowire, electromagnets, and metal frames we already had on the bus, so that was easy, just brought them down and in. And I set up another build here for some more graphite, because we're going to do tungsten carbide next. That requires wolframite, which is these brown patches on the map. I went ahead and mined them all, brought them all down to the corner here. But this is wolframite set into a furnace. It takes 5 wolframite to make 1 tungsten ore, so it's easier to smelt them down here, and so you're not dragging as many belts. I just threw a research lab down here to make some more money while I was setting everything up. So we'll drag all those belts over, get tungsten carbide set up, and also couplers. Okay, so that was just a whole bunch of forges. We got these ones here making graphite, as well as these ones down here. The rest of them are making tungsten carbide. On the end here, these will be couplers once we unlock them, but we got to send some carbide to the research lab first to get to that. So I'm just going to hook it up real quick, make sure everything works. And off we go. Okay, here's the factory operating at full capacity right now. There's some backups on the line, so they probably won't stay this filled forever. But there's the graphite coming in, and then the purple stuff here is the tungsten ore coming in. This is tungsten carbide coming out and being shipped off to the bus right now, and then this half is being shipped off to make couplers, which I'm not sure why that's so backed up, but there must be, yeah, I'm just making too many of them. But so it's flowing nicely. We should unlock some research. Next up will be turbochargers, which should be a pretty small build. We're making everything for it already, so it should be pretty quick. Turbochargers are up and running. So that unlocks computers. Computers we actually have set up. It's going to require couplers, which we're making right here in these workshops. But computers we actually set up a long time ago, right here. I roughed this up for supercomputers, and looks like it'll fit in nice. All I gotta do is grab some of these heat sinks, computers, bring down the couplers, we'll be good to go. Concrete's going to require a whole bunch of stone. These workshops will turn it into sand, and then the forges will take the sand and steel rods, which we've already made before, into concrete. It looks like 4 furnaces or 4 workshops can handle a full belt of stone, and that can supply a little over 2 of these. So I threw a third one in here, and this third one here is a blend of these 2 belts coming together. So whatever's left will go into this third one. Won't be enough to operate at full efficiency, but it'll at least use up a full belt of stone. And steel rods can support 10 of these setups, which happens to be what I have in the line here, 10. So I will need another setup just like this, only half the size, so 5 sets of workshops. And that will process the amount of concrete we need to process. I just have to figure out how to get the steel rods, which are right here, through this mess somehow over to the concrete build. I've already done the stone harvesting, so just got to attach these belts in and set it up. Okay, there's concrete operational, doing its thing. Looks pretty good, looks pretty organized. I was able to sneak through the steel rods through this patch here, so that worked out okay. And I have another one of the balancers that I talked about previously here, just to make sure the belts are filled properly. But that's the concrete build, which unlocked industrial frames. I just have it flowing into the research lab now to generate some cash. Industrial frames is, I believe we already planned for way back when. Nice empty spot right here with all these room for whatever manufacturers, I think maybe. No, industrial factories making industrial frames. So let's get that up and running. Put together a quick atomic locator factory. Doesn't require much, so I just needed some copper wire. And then supercomputers, electron microscopes, and concrete, which we are already making already, so I just put those off the bus and in. We are running out of room for the factory. We just have this little space left. I've used all this, but I think we should be able to fit what we need left to in here. The other problem I'm having is I'm using up most of my materials now and nothing is going into the research lab, so cash flow has come to a screeching halt. So we'll have to do something about that. But if I take a quick look at the tech tree, I'm getting down near the end. So quantum entangler is next. So basically we have these 4 left to go. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So I'm going to get these 4 up and running, then I'll go over it with you and we'll get some Earth tokens going. Okay, everything's set up now. Let's take a quick look at it. We'll start with MC here, matter compressors. All I had to do was bring in a little bit of stone for that to make it sand, turned into glass. Then glass mixed with carbide and concrete made tanks, as you can see up here. Tanks get sent down here to make matter compressors, which take frames, turbochargers, motors, and tanks. We're a little light on the turbochargers, so we'll have to address that later. But matter compressors, the only thing they're used for is particle glue. So they're all being sent to these 5 workshops making particle glue, which is then being sent on to the final build. Right next door is the energy cubes, which just takes batteries and frames to make energy cubes. Up top we have stabilizers being built, so that was copper being brought in, turned into wire, mixed with rotors, I believe, to make gyroscopes. Gyroscopes are sent over to industrial factories to make with motors and computers off the bus, which make stabilizers. Stabilizers are then split between 2 factories. One down here making magnetic field generators, which take nanowires, electromagnets, industrial frames, and stabilizers. Again, all this stuff was stuff we'd built previously on the bus, so it was actually relatively easy to set this stuff up. And then stabilizers are also being sent over here, making quantum entanglers. Quantum entanglers are being sent to the final build over here, which is matter duplicators, which take the stuff we've built previously on the bus. And finally it was being sent to the research lab. We're going to move that out of the way right now, because we should have unlocked the last building all the way down at the end here, the Earth teleporter. So let's unlock that and put that one down. Our teleporter costs 100,000. Pretty steep. I'm going to put it 2 of them because that's what my goal was. We're not going to be able to supply 2 of them right now until we get the belt upgrades done, but can't see it working, so I'm not sure. Helps if you select a recipe. Alright, so it's working now. Got one Earth teleporter processing, one matter duplicator. Our first Earth token should be coming out here pretty soon. We'll wait for it to happen. And there we go, we completed our first Earth token. We can start over or fix up this world. We're going to keep fixing up this world. So basically the next step is to get these extractors upgraded. This requires 20 Earth tokens and the belt upgrade. Those are the 2 most important things because that's what going to set our factory up to get to the 2.8 Earth tokens per minute. So that requires 50. So we'll let that run for a little bit until we get those upgrades. I let the game run for about 24 hours, which built up enough cash to upgrade all my extractors to tier 5, the highest level. So they're all exporting materials at 30 per minute right now. Except for the boosted ones are exporting at 36 per minute. That's using coal boost. I did not get into the nuclear power. I could have boosted them even more and got the Earth tokens up higher. But as you can see on the production screen here, Earth tokens are at 2.86 per minute, which is the equivalent of 2 Earth teleporters operating at 100% efficiency. So we've reached our goal. I'll give you a quick tour of the factory. You can see the overall map. When I zoom out the computer, it sounds like it's going to take off because it uses quite a bit of processing power to show you all the materials that are going through it. There's the map. The factory's down here in the portion down here. Zoom in. But you can see the massive amount of belts that we had to use to process some of the stuff. I mean, it got a little bit of spaghetti here in the end, but overall not too bad. Let's go over to the Earth token buildings. And you can see them right here. These are both producing all the time. So yeah, 2.8 Earth tokens per minute. Goal achieved.